Alright, welcome back to Lenz Comic Corner Classic Less Known Classic. This is episode number 2668 and Doubleshot 2560. I forgot to apologize to do this. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to video yesterday. I wasn't feeling too well, so that's mainly the reason why there wasn't a video yesterday. I was curious. But this is the one video I was supposed to do yesterday, but I was just not feeling too well. So, I'm feeling fine today. So the first up we have is Batman Illustrated by Neal Adams, Volume 1. Of course, this book is basically has lots of covers Neal Adams did and some issues per se. This book contains, I'm not going to read that there, so the actual issues collecting this trade is most of some Brave and the Bold issues and pretty much in the way like two issues of It is, so here's what it collects, the actual issues. World's Finest, 175, 176, and Brave and the Bold, 79 through 85. Yep. It also contains the covers for Detective Comics 370, 372, 385, 391, and 385, 389, 391, 392. For Brave and the Bold, contains covers for 75, 76. Excuse me. And that's it, but for World's Finest, it contains the covers for issues 174, 178, 180, 180, 182, 183, 185, and 186. For Batman, it contains covers for 200, 203, 210, and that's it. So in the case of this two-part, it's mostly put just the 175, 173, World's Finest. It's basically a World's Finest Revenge Squad, released in 1976, and of course, well, there is a March Madness backup stuff, but that's about another time. Most of the part is basically the Superman Batman Revenge Squads. Yeah. Yeah, and then the very next issue, it's basically just, well, finding who this mysterious villain is, who it's not really much of a story here, just moving on from that. But Brave and the Bold, these are interesting ones. So 79 is a story where Batman teams up with Deadman. Fun fact about Deadman, his very first cover appearance was drawn by Neal Adams, who later did a miniseries with the character. And I'm surprised they included in there, which is kind of weird. Yes, it is mostly put them taking on a guy called Max Chill, who was Joe Chill's brother. Yeah, he's basically just a one-shot character. Not much to go on here for that, but really good storyline here with that one. In 80, he teams up with the Creeper. Takes on a guy called Helgermat, who actually appears more than once. Which, after this issue, he became a frequent recurring character. This was the only issue making this book. I mean, mostly he appeared in Superman books. Oh, by the way, the stories were by Bob Haney. In the case of issue number 81, it's Batman the Flash taking on a guy called Bork. He's just a big brute they just happen to take on. He's mostly a character associated with Power Company in the 2000s. And is there any more? In 82, Batman teams up with Aquaman, who's sleepwalking. Yeah, and of course taking on the Ocean Master as well. Yep. Excuse me. In Brave 83, Batman teams up with the Teen Titans. But the story involved, like, oh, don't stop me, he's my son, despite the fact he's evil. It turns out he's actually the son of an old friend of his, who decided to adopt as his own after his father died. And he's, like, evil, he's here for, like, one issue, then he dies. And he gets buried. And he's never been seen again after this. The kid's name is Lawrence Brenner. Who died in this issue here and would make a brief return. Actually, this is a solo appearance to date. Yeah, he's just a character that Neal Adams created just to die. 84 teams up with Sergeant Rock. It was a time travel story, which is really fun. I think there's one other issue in here. Yes. 85. I've kind of talked about this issue already, but I'll talk about it here. This issue here is the first time we have Batman team with Green Arrow in his brand new costume. This is the first appearance of the iconic costume we see nowadays. That was taken away because of the New 52. And it's also noteworthy for the first appearance of Green Arrow's iconic Valkyrie beard. Yes, this is the very comic where Neal Adams redesigned him. And from this comic forward, up until the New 52, this was Green Arrow's look. The costume had slight changes to it, but he still had the goatee, the Don mask, and the hat. But that's mostly exactly what his thing is. And it's all about basically passing some crime bill. But that's basically just... not exactly, it's just a standalone story. There's also a psychiatrist who's in the story who finds out Green Arrow and Batman's secret identities. And then by the end of the story, apparently the guy who they tell is a psychiatrist and son of the guy who got shot in the story. So Bruce Wayne has become a congressman in order to pass his one bill. And then as soon as it's passed, he resigns and basically gets back to his father. He gets back to the guy who previously got shot. Yeah. It's one time Bruce Wayne became a congressman, and that was it. Of course, this probably gave the idea for making another member of Congress, that being Batgirl, which happened in the 70s. Who was there for one term and never re-elected. Apparently, she represented Gotham City. Yeah, it was weird. Normally, senators represent states, not usually like a city. Or some area, but not like a city. Maybe represent Gotham County. But yeah, this guy, Emmett Carr, he's a great character. It's a shame the guy only appeared for this one comic. Yeah, but great book overall. I'm going to give this book a 10 out of 10. Next up, we have some detective comics to talk about. Yes. Now, we're talking about some backup stories. You're thinking, backup stories? Oh yes, backup stories. That for some strange reason DC has chosen not to put into a trade paperback. Or at least an omnibus. Nope, it is... we're discussing the backup stories from Detective Comics 372 to 383. Also discussing 4 issues of Flash. Well, backup features for that one. And the reason we're talking about that, because of Elongated Man. Yeah, so in the case of the first story, Elongated Man throws his way around. It's mostly about fighting off against glue fighters. Yeah. Of course, there is a backup story for this one. I'm surprised, and by the way, the Elongated Man one is like Gardner Fox and Gil Kane. In 373, it's basically Elongated Man versus the Riddler. Yes, with Batman as a supporting character. And here's the weird thing. Another story not in trade. Written by Gardner Fox. Art by Gail Kane. Making it really? Yes, really. In 374, it's basically Elongated Man versus basically bank robbers. I mean, his stories do be very interesting. I love his stories he have in here. You have The Face That Stopped Clocks, where it is mostly put basically Long going to get a birthday present for his wife. And all clocks. It's a really interesting story. I never find these stories to be bad in here. And then we have 376, The Doll Demon Doom. Yeah, we're like, okay, so yeah, this doll has to go do stuff, and Long Man breaks it, and of course he's broken long ago. Frees the guy from a curse, and that's it. In 377, despite the fact the episode features the Riddler, the backup story is mostly put called The Case of the Clumsy Crook. Yeah, basically unlucky crook who gets caught easily by a elongated man. And then in 378, it's called The Menace of the Man-Killing Shooting Gallery. Yeah, it's mostly elongated man to try and calm down a guy who's been shooting of stuff. Yep. In 379, it's called Longaman's Magic Moment. Yep. Or we have John Zydera make guest appearance. Yep. You think, wait, John Zydera? You mean the beautiful Santana's father? Yes, same guy. Not collect and trade. Yep. 380 is known as Elongated Man and Fortune the Flower Pot. It's a pretty okay story. It's not really wrong here per se with this one. And then we have 381. Which, by the way, 381 is noteworthy for the book where they have on the cover, it's like, I think it presents Batman and Robin. Yeah, they changed it to that, and it makes like that for a while with Batman and either Robin or Batgirl. Later on, it becomes like a split book between two characters. The longer man is called The Come and Go Mansion Mystery, which is a pretty fun story for what it is. I really enjoyed it. And the penultimate story is basically Longer Man, The Wishing Well Wonder. They were jewel thieves. The final story is Pursuit of the Bugged Bandits. Yep. Time for some jewel thieves, and this would be the last story featuring Elongated Man because he gets moved over to the Flash. You're thinking, really? Yeah, he does. Yeah, that's kind of what DC does for some reason. Yeah, they move over to the Flash, and he's there for a very short period of time. It's like he's there to fill in between some issues that feature Kid Flash's backup feature. Yeah, first being 206, where it's called Showdown in Elongated Town, where it's Elongated Man versus the Mirror Master. And then he's not appearing again to issue 208. Yes, 208 at the makeup. And his story is actually the second story in the book. Yes, it's called Menace of Wonderland. This is a weird one. And what I mean by really weird? Well, where it's basically just Elongated Man encountering characters from Alice in Wonderland. And for some reason, they had Mad Hatter in the book look like the 50s version of Mad Hatter, one who's short, and then they brought back in the 80s. Yes, and these White Rabbit, Alice. It is a weird, weird story. And of course, the very next story that features them, the third story, it is in 210. It is a story that is a just call it Tasteless Trick. There's also a backup story called Invasion of the Claw Creatures, which is just a reprint. Yep. And then finally, the final story, the feature Elongated Man in the book, is 212. Yep. It is mostly called When Money Grows on Trees. It is mostly about discovering a money growing tree scheme. But that's most of what it is. And that's the last of the Elongated Man features. So I'm thinking, really? That's it? Yeah, just these few appearances. It's kind of weird, the fact that it's like that. Just these 2 comics. Yeah. Of course, also his next ever solo appearance. That's not, let's say, his next time he appears solo-wise will not be until Detective Comics number 426. Well, I'll get to that later, but I'm happy the fact I got this done. And this only came just a couple years just after they canceled it. Now, I do not know why DC is not done in there. I actually own Showcase Events Long Game Volume 1, and I don't know why these issues are not in trade. It's weird, but nothing bad about these stories at all. I just kind of wish DC would collect them. I'm going to give these Long Game stories a 9 out of 10. Yep. So yeah, that's that particular review. Next up, we have a omnibus to talk about, and a final trade for Teen Titans. If I know what it is. Next video. But please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Okay, next video. Bye.